Jesus' most important teaching was not a sermon. It was a secret map. You think this map shows the way to a golden city in the sky. But what if it actually reveals the prisons we build inside our own souls? The secret is not in the destination. It is hidden in the journey itself. Stick with me, and you will understand why this teaching was so dangerous. The Apostle Peter himself tried to erase it from history. Let's return to the scene described in the forbidden Gospel of Mary. The days after the crucifixion, the apostles, the chosen men who had walked with Jesus for 3 years, are not filled with faith. They are paralyzed by grief and consumed by fear, hidden away in a locked room. Their leader is gone. Their hope has been shattered. The world they knew has ended. And into this darkness, this despair, walks Mary Magdalene. But she is not grieving. She does not share their fear. The text says she is radiant, filled with a serene power that instantly sets her apart from the broken men around her. She comes with a message of hope. She claims the Savior has appeared to her in a vision and given her a final, secret teaching that clarifies everything. She has come to deliver the last piece of the puzzle, a truth meant to transform their despair into understanding. But she is not met with relief. She is met with hostility. And the source of that hostility is the first critical clue in this entire mystery. The reaction of the man who is meant to be the rock of the new church, Simon Peter, is not one of hope, but of suspicion and rage. This moment of conflict is the key that unlocks why the teaching she carried was so dangerous. The crucial piece of evidence that reveals the entire cover-up is found in Peter's own words. He does not ask what Jesus said. He does not lean in with hope to hear the final teaching. Instead, he explodes with anger and jealousy. The Gospel of Mary records his bitter challenge to Mary, and through her, to Jesus himself. He says, "Did he really speak privately with a woman and not openly to us? Are we to turn about and all listen to her? Did he prefer her to us?" Read those words carefully. This is not the confusion of a grieving man. This is the outrage of a man whose authority has been challenged. It is a raw display of ego and hierarchy. The questions reveal his entire worldview, a world of inner circles, of secrets reserved for the powerful, of a structure where he believed he was at the top. The idea that Jesus would give the most profound teaching to a woman was not just a surprise to him. It was an insult to his perceived position. This wasn't a personal disagreement about who was Jesus's favorite. It was the first shot fired in an ideological war for the soul of a new faith, erupting in the very room where that faith was supposed to begin. Peter's fear was not just about his personal authority. It was about the very foundation of the church he planned to build. His vision for the faith was one of structure, rules, and a clear hierarchy of priests and bishops who would hold the keys to the kingdom and grant forgiveness to the masses. It was a system built on external authority. But the teaching Mary carried was a direct threat to that entire vision. She described a faith that was not external, but deeply internal. A personal journey of revelation that every single soul could take on its own, without the need for an intermediary. Peter's anger was the instinctive fear of an institution realizing it could become obsolete before it was even built. Why would anyone need a priest to forgive their sins if they held the power to purify their own soul? Why would they need a church to show them the way to heaven if Jesus had already given everyone a map? The conflict in that locked room was not just about Peter versus Mary. It was about two completely different versions of Christianity. One of control and institution, and one of freedom and personal gnosis. We know which version won. And the reason Mary's version had to be erased is because it was simply too empowering. So what was on this map that was so revolutionary? When the other apostles press her, Mary begins to describe the soul's journey after death. It is not a journey upwards through clouds and stars to a physical city of gold. It is a journey inwards, through a series of 4 spiritual checkpoints, or powers, that are designed to hold the soul back. The first and most powerful of these enemies is what the text calls the power of desire, or matter. As the soul leaves the body, it is not immediately free. It is trapped in an invisible net of its own physical history. It is suddenly flooded with the perfect, vivid memory of every sensation it ever experienced. It is not just seeing a memory, it is feeling it. The phantom warmth of the sun on your skin. The deep, satisfying taste of your favorite meal. The comfort of a familiar embrace. These memories rise up not as gentle reminders, but as powerful temptations. Energetic hooks, whispering with your own voice. This is what is real. This is who you are. Come back. Stay with what you know. This is the first great battle, a war against the ghost of your own body. A test to see if the soul can finally separate its identity from its physical sensations. The key to passing this first great trial is not about strength or willpower. It is not about denying that these physical pleasures were good. The text makes it clear that fighting these desires only makes them stronger. This is where Jesus' first secret of the map is revealed, as told by Mary. He told her, "You do not fight the darkness. You simply recognize what it is." The soul does not struggle. It does not try to erase the memories. Instead, it becomes a peaceful observer. It looks upon the entire banquet of its past physical life, from the greatest pleasures to the deepest pains, and it speaks with its true voice for the very first time. It says, "I experienced you, but you are not me. I lived within a vessel, but I am not the vessel. You were the ship. I was the sailor." The moment the soul can observe its own past desires without being controlled by them, the moment it can separate its true identity from its temporary experiences, the first and heaviest chain shatters. The thick fog of matter dissolves. The soul has passed the first checkpoint. It has proven that it is more than just a body, and it is finally light enough to ascend to the next challenge. Freed from the anchor of the physical world, the soul rises. But it does not rise into a realm of light. It rises into a shadowy, turbulent space, filled with echoes and whispers. It has entered the domain of the second enemy, the power of darkness. But this is not the darkness of some external devil or demon that you have been taught to fear. This is a darkness that is born from within. It is the prison of our own unprocessed emotions. Imagine the soul is forced to walk through a living gallery of its own life's regrets. In one corner, it sees a perfect, breathing replica of itself in the middle of a past argument. Its face twisted in anger, the hateful words it spoke still hanging like poison in the air. The raw feeling of that unresolved anger is not a memory, it is a fresh, hot, and real wound. It turns and sees the ghost of a friend's success, and it feels that old, familiar sting of jealousy, sharp and cold as ice. It is then forced to walk through a moment of deep grief that it never truly allowed itself to feel. A black hole of sorrow that still threatens to pull it apart. This realm is a cage built bar by bar from our own unprocessed anger, jealousy, and sadness. The shadows of this second realm swirl around the soul, whispering accusations that sound like its own voice of self-doubt. You were weak. You were cruel. You were envious. This is who you really are. The soul's first instinct is to fight back, to justify its past actions, to defend its choices. But the text reveals this is a trap. Arguing with your own shadows only gives them more form, more power. This is where the second key Jesus gave to Mary is revealed. It is a profound act of spiritual courage. He told her, "That which is within you will save you if you bring it forth. If you do not have that within you, that which you do not have will destroy you." The soul does not fight the anger. It turns to face the angry version of itself, looks it in the eyes, acknowledges its presence, understands where the pain came from, and consciously lets it go. It does not deny the jealousy. It accepts that it was a part of its human experience and releases the need to compare itself to others. By bringing these hidden shames into the light of its own loving awareness, the soul transforms them. The shadows do not flee from the light. They dissolve back into the light from which they came. The second prison, the prison of the heart, has fallen. Having conquered the enemies of the body and the heart, the soul now ascends to a place of utter silence and clarity. There are no forms here, no shadows, no temptations. There is only a single, powerful, crystalline presence. This is the realm of the third and final enemy, the power of ignorance. This enemy is the most subtle and the most dangerous. Its weapon is not sensation or emotion. Its weapon is a question, a being of pure intellect, neither male nor female, neither light nor dark, appears before the soul. It is the final gatekeeper, the guardian of the ego, and it asks two deceptively simple questions. First, from where have you come? The soul, remembering its entire cosmic journey, is tempted to answer with its epic story. I have come from the earth. I was a person named John. I conquered the powers of matter and darkness to get here. But this is the trap. To answer with your story is to chain yourself to your past. To identify with your journey is to forget that you are more than just the traveler. The gatekeeper of ignorance then asks the second, final question. Where are you going? And the soul, full of hope, is tempted to answer with its destination. I am going to the kingdom of God, to find eternal peace, to be with my Creator. But this is also a trap. To answer with a future destination is to limit your potential, to define the infinite. It proves that you still see yourself as a separate being, traveling on a linear path from point A to point B. This is the ultimate test of the ego, the pride of knowing who you are and where you are going. For your entire life on earth, you were rewarded for having the right answers. In this final test, having any answer at all is what holds you back. This is where the third and most radical key from Jesus is revealed. The soul does not answer with words. The only correct answer is a state of being. The soul simply remains in a state of profound, peaceful, knowing silence. This silence is the true answer. It is a communication beyond words. In its perfect stillness, the soul communicates a truth deeper than any story. Its silence says, I did not come from any single place, and I am not going to any single destination. I am a part of the all, and the all is a part of me. My origin and my destination are eternally here and now. By refusing to define itself with a past or a future, the soul becomes undefinable. By letting go of its story, it becomes limitless. The gatekeeper of ignorance does not step aside in defeat. It simply ceases to exist, for there is no longer a separate self for it to question. The final enemy has been vanquished, not by a sword, but by a surrender of the identity that held the sword. The soul is now completely free, completely pure, and completely itself. It has passed the final test. It expects to see a throne, a city of gold, a choir of angels. It finds none of these things. It finds something far more profound. The soul arrives at what the text calls the seventh house, the place of repose. But this is not the rest of a weary traveler. It is the profound stillness of arrival at one's true nature. The journey is over, because the soul finally understands there was never anywhere to go. Imagine a single drop of rain falling from the sky. It travels through the air, it lands on a leaf, it rolls down a stem, it drips into a river, and it flows for miles, believing it is a separate drop on a great adventure. Finally, the river meets the ocean. The drop does not just see the ocean, it merges with it. In that moment, its long journey as a single drop is over, but it has not died. It has become the entire ocean. This is the repose. The soul realizes it was never separate from God. It was only a part of the divine consciousness that had temporarily forgotten what it was. This reveals the final, stunning secret of the map Jesus gave to Mary. Heaven is not a reward for a life well lived. It is your original state of being. The entire journey was not about getting into heaven. It was about dismantling the prisons that keep you from experiencing the heaven that is already inside you. The suppression of Mary's gospel was not just about silencing a woman. It was about hiding a power they believed was too dangerous for the world to handle. Does this change how you see the role of Mary Magdalene? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. If this video revealed a deeper truth, support our research by hitting that like button, and be sure to subscribe to Forbidden Scrolls for more stories that have been hidden from history. Peace.